minus 30 seconds. Systems are both vertical. Let's listen in to kind of just Falcon 9 takes our stack of Starlink satellites into.
Hey guys, Button25 here, watching another Starlink mission. This time,
15 seconds.
well, this booster has flown 8 times before this 9's flying,
9,
and the fairings are also flown.
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
0. Ignition.
and lift off the Falcon 9.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
Good. Everything is
Stage 1 propulsion's nominal.
As you can see, Falcon 9 has successfully
Telemetry nominal.
lifted off from pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, carrying our stack of Starlink satellites to orbit. We're going to throttle the 9 Merlin engines down in preparation for max Q,
Vehicle supersonic.
or maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is the largest structural load that the vehicle will see during ascent, so slowing it down a little bit will help the vehicle pass through that short period.
Max Q.
And there we heard the call out for max Q. Now, in about a minute, we're going to have 3 events happen in quick succession, back to back. The first one is main engine cutoff, or MECO. This is where all 9 of those M1D engines are going to shut off, and that'll help slow the vehicle down in preparation for the second event, stage separation. As the name would suggest, this is when the first and second stages will separate from each other. The first stage will start its way back to Earth.
Back's chilling in.
We heard the chill-in. We're flowing some super chilled liquid oxygen into the
just
turbopumps
there
on
isn't
that second stage
a shock.
engine. The first stage,
When does it now?
after stage separation, will make its way back to Earth. Second stage will continue its journey with the third event, SES-1, or Second Engine Start 1. This is where MVAC will light up and begin to propel second stage along with the Starlink satellites into orbit. And main engine cutoff will be coming up in 10 seconds. Everything continues to look nominal there with that vehicle trajectory.
Okay, we have MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
There it goes. And SES-1.
All right, there on your screen,
Ignition and throttle up complete.
as the MVAC nozzle begins to develop that
There,
glow
that's a
flow,
beautiful
you
view
can
of
see
the
that all 3 events, like I said, quick succession.
of the
On
exhaust hitting
left-hand
the
side of
first
your
stage.
screen, we have the first stage. In the background behind the first stage, I absolutely love this view. We got some night lights of the Space Coast behind it. The first stage is actually,
Separation confirmed.
there we heard the call out for fairing SEP, and we can see that stack of Starlink
There goes the
satellites
fairings.
Great views. Everything looks nominal there with our second stage. As it heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, first stage is going to execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. If you look closely, you can still see the night lights of the Space Coast there in the upper left corner. The first of the 2 burns that first stage will execute is the entry burn, where 3 of the M1D engines will reignite. This will help to slow the stage down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. The second burn is the landing burn. This is a single engine burn that brings the vehicle speed
Signal Bermuda.
down rapidly in order to land on the drone ship.
That is a good view from the
So they're
ground because
both
you can
shots that we
see.
have on screen are actually both of the second.
You can see the
stage.
first stage
You can
there,
see the large
and then the 2
plume on
fairings.
the left-hand side. Everything continues to look nominal.
I wonder if we can get a view of the entry burn from the
So there
ground, or if
we
that
can
will be
see
too
that
far
second
off.
stage vacuum engine. This engine will power the second stage to its targeted orbit. What you can't see on screen is the other end of the second stage, where the 60 Starlink satellites are stacked and awaiting deployment later on in our mission this morning. Starlink satellites operate over 60 times closer to the Earth than traditional satellites, resulting in much lower latency. For those of you that might not be familiar, latency is the time that it takes to send data from one point to the next. So in this context, it's the time it takes to send data.
Stage is following a nominal trajectory.
Good call out there for nominal trajectory for second stage.
Basically just means everything's going
latency, in this
perfectly.
context,
We're
it's the
going
time
fine.
that it takes to send data from the ground to the satellite and then back. When satellites are far away from Earth, latency is high. We're talking 550 milliseconds or more. This prevents activities like video calls and online gaming. When satellites are close to Earth, like the Starlink satellites, latency is low, more like 20 to 40 milliseconds versus 550 milliseconds. This enables video calls and online gaming with an experience similar to fiber or cable. And because Starlink is a satellite network, you're not limited by ground infrastructure. That's one of the main reasons why people who live in rural or remote areas don't have access to high-speed internet, because running the fiber or the cable necessary to get them connected is just too expensive. The Starlink kit comes with everything you need to get connected, including your Starlink, also known as Dishy McFlatface, your Wi-Fi router, power
Okay.
supply, and cabling. The hardware comes pre-connected in the box, so all you have to do is download the Starlink app, plug it in, find the best installation spot for your Dishy, and you can get connected to.
TS is safe.
You can
Also, you can see the
to
plasma
internet
of
in a
re-entry
matter of
there.
minutes.
Stage 1 entry,
Entry burn.
And there we can see on your screen startup of that first of two burns,
Dishy
the entry burn. This
McFlatface.
lasts 20 seconds.
And you can see the speed decreasing. You can see it's separate stage 1 and 2 telemetry.
The base of the first stage vehicle.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
And shutdown of those 3 engines. So
There you go. You can see the plasma from re-entry.
Burn is we want to slow the first stage down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere.
That's the fun
As
part
you
of
can
night
tell
launches.
by the energy there on the grid fins, we can see that it's going pretty fast, and we want to slow the velocity down as it re-enters the atmosphere.
Is on a nominal trajectory.
You can look at that deceleration. That's all aerodynamic.
Nominal trajectory.
There is no acceleration. There's no like
Next event
engine
that we have
firing.
coming up will
That is
be
purely
the landing
aerodynamic.
bird for the first stage, as the name suggests. This is when we will be attempting to land on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently holding position a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida in the
Stage 1 transonic.
a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean.
So that means stage 1 is down, flying slower than the speed of sound.
Everything continuing to look good with the second stage and our Starlink satellites.
Also signal stage 1, Cape Canaveral expected.
Stage 1 landing burn.
So we heard the call out that the landing burn for
Oh.
stage 1 has begun.
Oh.
We can start to see the plume there on our drone ship cam on the left-hand side of your screen. Hopefully we'll be able to maintain video signal through landing.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Okay, the landing legs are out.
Okay.
Terminal guidance.
Unfortunately, it looks like we weren't able to maintain that video signal. We'll bring that back to you as soon as we can, as well as a status update on that landing. Everything continues to look good.
We're approaching.
TS is safe.
Everything continues to look good there with second stage.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Oh, there we go.
heard
That's
it. We
good.
couldn't see it, but we did hear verbal confirmation that we had a successful landing of that booster, marking our 70.
Also signal stage 2 from the Cape is
The-
expected.
This marks our 77th successful recovery of an orbital class rocket, and the 9th landing of this particular booster. Like I mentioned before,
Which is
this is the
really
first time
cool.
that we've launched and landed a Falcon 9 first stage 9 times.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And just like that, we heard confirmation of a good orbit. So at this point, stage 2 is going to coast for a little bit, actually for the next 35 minutes or so. So hang tight. We'll see you back here at T plus 45 minutes for a second stage relight.
I probably won't be around for that, but just in case I am,
Acquisition.
maybe not. Let's see you then.